I finally pulled the trigger and bought the underwater housing from Nauticam for my new camera, Sony A7C Mark II. I got the housing yesterday and practiced assembling and disassembling a few times. So I just want to record this video to remind myself how to set it up and take it apart, and also in case anyone's interested to see how it works, you can get an idea of how easy it is. I was actually really intimidated when I went to pick it up, but actually I found it quite intuitive, and in the end it was quite easy to do. I'm sure with a few practices it will become really straightforward. So yeah, let's dive into it. So we have my camera here, Sony A7C Mark II, and the lens is f/2.8 16-35 G Master 2, and apparently this is a really good lens. I am a total beginner, so yeah, maybe this is too much of a good lens for me, and it's huge. I'm pretty heavy, but I've already bought it. So let's see how it goes. Then we have the NA A7C2 housing for the camera, and it's already quite heavy just with the housing itself. It's already a beast, but it's pretty cute. And also I've got the lanyard from the same reseller. Then we have the M14 vacuum valve. So yeah, I think that's already here. Alex, when he set it up for me, he already put it on. So this vacuum valve comes separately, but now it can just stay on with the cap on. Then we have zoom gear for Sony FE16-35 f2.8 GM2. So that's this guy. Yeah, you can also see the names written on the thing, and it has two parts. This is a zoom gear. Then we have N100 to N120 35.5mm port adapter 2. So I think that's this guy, I want to say. Yeah, so that's this guy. You can kind of see N100 to N120 port adapter. Then we have N120 extension ring. That's this guy. So this is the extension ring. N120 extension ring 52. Lots of letters and numbers. And lastly, we have the 180mm optical glass wide angle port, and that's this guy here with the protective sleeve. Okay, so I'm gonna try to put this together. So first of all, I've never been underwater with a big camera before, so I'm kind of just imagining what's gonna happen and try to be prepared. I actually also didn't do any research, so I'm sure I will forget something, and maybe I'll come back to re-record this part of the video. But a couple of things I did. So I flipped the screen, then I need to make sure that the cap is off before I put on the dome. I also turned the viewfinder off so that if it's automatically switching, when it's in the housing, you will not see the screen turning on. So you have to turn off the viewfinder so that you can look at the screen all the time. After one day of test shoot in the water, I'm back with one additional thing to add, as it's a huge mistake that I made. So on the lens that I have, there's an iris ring that controls the aperture. And I made the mistake of not having it on the A position, which is automatic, and it means that the aperture is set by the camera body. I had it on some aperture setting, which means that I cannot change the aperture on the camera body anymore. And once it's in the housing, there's nothing I can do. I was already in the water. I couldn't change the aperture, so I had to just deal with it use what I have. So make sure that if you want to change the aperture in the water, leave the aperture control on the lens on automatic before you put it in the housing. I'll start by opening the housing. So there's this like opening, you just turn it, and then you can open the back of the housing. And you want to check the O-rings are clean and well greased. Then you have this thing, you can take it out and then screw onto the bottom of the camera. So I'm gonna just take the lens off for now and screw on the plate. I'm not sure what you call it actually. And now this camera can slide in. And before you slide in, you need to lift a few buttons. One is the switch between the photo video mode button. One is the on and off button, it comes out as well. And the other one is the zoom, where you can just pull it out and pull it to the side. So once those three buttons are out, you can slide in the camera at the bottom, and there's this click. Now it's locked in. So now you can close and turn the opening and then turn it to secure. Now we can open this thing from the side. You have the open button, and we are going to put on the adapter. So for this one, you have the 0, align with the 0, and then it's just pushing it in, and now we can close this. If it doesn't close, it means that it's not fully aligned. And then the next one would be the zoom gear on the lens. We will put on the first part of the zoom gear that looks a bit broken, but that's how it is designed to be, so that it's on the zoom ring. And then this one goes on. Just want to make sure I do this right. So this one goes on, you simply just push it in like that. So now you can turn this to zoom. And now we can put the lens on. So this you would align the white dot as you normally would with the white dot on the camera, and then you just click in. The next one is the extension ring. There's also the button, so you press the button, lift the thing, turn the O, align with the other O, and this is open. And then you can align the O to the 1, push it in, then turn it to the other O, then you can close. Now this is locked in. Lastly, we have the dome, so I'm going to take off the lens cap. You have the button here on the side, on the extension ring. Press the button, lift the lever to open it, and then you have the O aligned with the O here. And it's just a matter of aligning the two and then push it down. Now once it's down, you can just close it to lock it. That's it. This is the setup. I hope I didn't forget anything. I definitely forget something. One important thing to remember before you close everything up is the alarm system here, so you can turn it on the side. This is the vacuum alarm. So you have the on-off button here on the side, and the battery. The battery over here, on-off button here. You can just turn it on. and there's a sensor. There's a sensor here. If it detects moisture, for instance, if you lick your finger and put your finger here, it will beep. You don't want to hear that in the water. So now it's on and it's flashing blue. That's good. So now we just close it up again. Make sure you lock it. Make sure you lock it properly. And now we can vacuum the system. And we just simply put it on. And you can see now the light is blinking yellow. And then at some point it's gonna be green. We want to continue until the light shows green, and that's when we stop. And we can replace the cap and wait for an hour or half an hour to make sure the green stays green and is not leaking. And since we pull out the buttons when we put in the camera, now we can push it down again and make sure it actually properly switches the modes, the shooting mode, and also turning it on and off. That's it. That's the Sony A7C Nauticam setup. It's pretty straightforward overall, I would say. I want to give a shout out to Alex from Underwater Visions for getting this all together at last minute notice and for taking the time to show me how to set it up and make sure I know how to use it properly. Thank you, Alex. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this is helpful. I will report back how this goes. Thank you for watching. Bye.